Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fight Insight podcast. I'm Timmy B, and today with me, that is not Ringside Rain. This is my good buddy, Matt Padilla. Matt, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, Timmy. Good to be here.
Good. And Matt, tell the people who have not seen you on here before, and they're crazy if they haven't, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a 9-time amateur fighter. Been on the podcast like 4 times. I'm gunning for Brian Barberina's record. And I'm a matchmaker for Dan Henderson's fight night.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You've been doing like crazy things. Like, think about when we first met. I was just some lowly podcaster. You're just some amateur fighter, and now we're both doing crazy things in the sport. So I'm so proud of you, man. And this week on the podcast, we've got 2 great guests. I think last week we had a guest bail out on us last minute, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. But first guest we have is an incredible female mixed martial artist out in Bali, Indonesia. We're going to meet her in just a second, and then later on in the podcast, we have one half of the main event of Fight League Atlantic 14 that I will be commentating at in April. He is coming on the podcast as well. And this dude has the best nickname in the world, Squid Vicious. So we're going to meet him. Guys, stick with it. It's going to be a great episode. Thank you for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
All right. As I said, our guest today is a young female fighter who comes to us from Bali, Indonesia, born in Singapore. She's a former national netball player and all-around athlete. She eventually sets her sights on BJJ and MMA competition. We're going to talk to her about that. She was booked to compete at Palace Athena Women's Fighting Championship 3 just a few weeks ago. You know, we had like 4 guests that were fighting on that card, Matt. But she makes the trek all the way out to Calgary, Alberta, and then her opponent does not make weight. It is crazy. We've seen so many fights fall out. So, unfortunately, she wasn't able to fight. She's a social media star, though. She's got 2 accounts to her name, and we're very happy to meet her. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. I was excited to see her fight, but she wasn't there. Here we go, Matt. Let's welcome in Gritty Gilly, Gillian Goh. What's going on?
Hi, thank you for the awesome introduction. I'm very good. It's very hot here in Bali, but
yeah.
Where are you guys based?
You're in Bali and it's hot. Matt is out in California. Matt, what's the weather today for you?
Oh, nice and gloomy and sunny like it is every day.
I am in Toronto, Canada, and it snowed last weekend, so I've been shoveling snow. Yeah, so that's fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was snowing in Calgary as well. So that's been like a couple of years since I've seen snow. So that was super nice.
I was very worried about you, Gillian, because I thought, here's this girl coming from Bali, Indonesia. I didn't even know if you'd own like a winter coat. So how does that work out?
No, I was going to go in my bikini.
What?
That's the first thought I had was like, oh my God, Canada, because I don't have any winter clothes here. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go in my bikini. But no, I happen to have like friends who, obviously like travel and stuff. So I was like calling them up and like, I don't want to go in my bikini and like freeze to death over there. But but it's my first time. Well, it's not my first time fighting in such a cold country, but Korea was cold, but not as cold. So that was nice. Yeah,
nice.
It didn't turn out to be that bad actually. Like with the snow and the minus 20 over degrees. Yeah.
Yeah. Gritty Gilly, I have to know now. Okay, so for people that do not follow you, first of all, I'm going to put your handle down at the bottom of the screen. It's at Gritty Gilly, GrittyGilly. Gritty Gilly. Where does that nickname come from?
Actually, it started as Gilly and Ghee, just so it's like catchy, like when I first started training in jiu-jitsu, and I wanted to document my jiu-jitsu journey. And when I started to transition into MMA, since I moved to Bali, I was like, I'm not really training the gi anymore. How do I do this? And I was just thinking something catchy, like Greedy Gilly just kind of stuck, Like for me, it's always been about yeah, it's always been since my netball days. Also, I've been like known as the Energizer Bunny. I was playing in the midfield, so I was like everywhere, running up and down. Got lots of energy, so I'm like, I don't give up, and yeah, it's just greedy Gilly suits me, and everyone's been calling me greedy. They don't even call me Gillian anymore. It's just like gritty, not even Gilly.
Okay.
So I
Now,
love it.
okay, now here's the thing. We talked about the beautiful weather in Bali. The fact that like what you're alluding to is that some of the only clothing you have is bikinis. You live in this beautiful country, beautiful climate. Why on earth do you begin to become a fighter? Like, shouldn't you just be relaxing and having fun all day? Why would you put yourself through this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I started in martial arts like back in Singapore when actually rewind that a little bit more. So I did like netball for like 10 years for the national team and all that. But after I left school, it was kind of hard to find like something that stuck. And I was trying different sports such as surfing, skiing, skating, everything, And with netball, it was also a team sport. So it was quite hard. Even when we went internationally, when we did like competitions in Australia and New Zealand, these girls were not just like tall, but really fast as well. So I was just thinking, okay, what if I could find a sport that, I could actually compete in my own like class. And, for us, Asian girls were like kind of smaller, but when we went international, it was still like super challenging, even if we were like on par with them in terms of skills. But yeah, so anyway, I tried like all these different sports. Then I just stumbled onto martial arts. I mean, I've heard of boxing, and Muay Thai, but back then I didn't know what Jiu-Jitsu was. This was like 2013 in Singapore. I mean, I've heard of Aikido, Taekwondo, Karate, but I've never actually tried it, school or where. And this was for a summer internship where it evolved in Singapore. It's like one of the most martial arts gyms in the world, especially for Asia. So they were hiring like interns, and I decided, okay, you know what? After I did all my banking internships, I was like, okay, I'll just try something fun, and I get to train. And I ended up like trying Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I actually started in Muay Thai, but I didn't really stick with it. But I went on to Jiu-Jitsu. Didn't really understand the sport at first, but I had a coach who was helping me a lot. And then I started to understand the sport, and I just kept like training in it, and I started getting really good at it. So I started competing as well, and one thing led to another. So I mean, I forgot your question.
No. I'm just saying.
It was a nickname,
okay,
right?
Yeah, no. You're going along the question. I was just saying, like, how do you get into like combat sports? You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But when you say an internship, but when you say an internship, what does that mean? Because Matt, do you understand what that means? Like internship?
Yeah, I haven't heard that personally.
Really? Okay,
No.
so I mean, in school here, like in Singapore especially, like internships are very sought after. It's like the pre-work before you get a full-time job, like in a bank or in like a proper office and things like that. So like for me to do an internship is like a trial period of work employment.
Yeah,
so for me to do that in a gym.
But wait, hold on. I know about internships like for like desk jobs or like for a banker.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're doing an internship for fighting?
Yeah. Well, not for fighting. Actually, it was a sales and marketing position. Mostly sales. Okay. But that was how I came to know about like the whole industry and about because I was actually selling packages to people, right? So I had to understand like what the hell I was selling. And back then I didn't know anything about it. So I learned it on the job. And obviously I was like super excited to try it also. And one thing led to another, and I started getting really good at it.
So wait, so you were selling packages to the gym, like gym packages?
To like the public for membership packages.
Okay, and I'm just gonna guess. Were you the greatest saleswoman of all time that Bali, Indonesia has ever seen?
Singapore. Back then, it was in Singapore.
Was Singapore?
Yeah. I got like, I think I was like the top second or top 2 salesperson, like in the 3 months I was there. Yeah. So that was like pretty good. Yeah.
Here's a question. Did any guy ever say no to you?
Yeah, of course, like all the time, but
liar.
Just like stuck my way. I'll make them try the sport, get their ass kicked, and then they'll have to buy the membership.
Yeah, I think the only guy that said no probably had his girlfriend or wife next to him, right, Matt?
Probably.
Yeah, they always had to ask their wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I join? Yeah.
Gritty Gilly. Yes. Serious question, because I've been following you for a while. Because when I saw you fight before, and then I saw on your Instagram something that happened to you that I think you were a little bit upset with at one time, but I don't know how things are going now. Very, very serious question. How are you managing with the bangs? Are you liking them now?
Oh yeah. Well, I just had my hair cut like a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And post fight when your face like balloons up again, like it's kind of the cheeks are like showing well. It's all good, yeah.
Okay. But, I remember on your Instagram, like when you first got the bangs, I think you were not so happy.
No, I loved it. Like everyone was like,
really?
There was only one time I cut it too short, so it was like this. And the Dumb and Dumber or something, like the guy, and I was just like, oh my god, I cut it too short. But yeah, it's all good now. It's gonna go out. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes me look younger, hides my wrinkles and shit.
Yeah.
Because like we get so stressed from fighting, all the time we are like look down, and then our eyes are like, chin down. I mean, and then all the wrinkles are like forming. I swear, like fight camps give me so many like white hair.
Yeah.
So much white hair.
So now you're out there. You're fighting in Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Like for us over here, like in the West, right, in America and Canada, a lot of what we see in terms of like Asian MMA, we see it at ONE FC or Risen or Deep Jewels. Like we kind of see some fighters there, but not too much. How is the female MMA or how is the female fight scene in Southeast Asia? Like what's going on there?
Well, I mean, over the last couple of years, it's really like exploded for martial arts growth, I think, especially in Southeast Asia. But there's still so much to be done, and especially for women, and for like the atomweight and strawweight category. Mm-hmm. I think strawweight categories like globally is just super stacked, but atomweight, I think mostly in Korea and Japan, we have like more of those fighters. But in like Southeast Asia, it's still quite hard to find. And even for IBJJF, I remember, because I did the IBJJF World Champs as well in California back in 2016. Even for atomweight category, it was only like 8 or 10 people, So, but that was for Jiu-Jitsu. So for MMA, I mean, it's even more, advanced in the sense where people are slowly transitioning into it, or these days they even just start off in MMA, right? But for I know for Southeast Asia especially, obviously like Thailand has been really like taking the lead and all after they released the ban on MMA, and also we won championship and 1 fight nights there. But for like Indonesia, just across the board, it's not so it's still not so popular. We barely have like any Indonesian women like really doing MMA. They have their traditional martial arts, which is like pencak silat, but that's very different, like completely different from MMA. And we see more girls like starting to do like boxing and Muay Thai, which is like awesome. But Jiu-Jitsu, not many people. I have another female friend. She's actually mixed, like Canadian, Indonesian, and she grew up in Singapore. And she's actually part of the national team for like for Indonesia. But she's also like quite tall and a completely different weight class, you know. So yeah, that's been quite challenging. But you know, in the Philippines also they have a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions back then. I'm not sure for MMA right now, but I haven't heard much. So yeah, like for us, where I see it going is obviously, I think fitness is gonna start taking off first. Bali's fitness scene has really like picked up right after COVID. So before COVID, I was actually managing a gym here in Bali. So I've been seeing how the scene here has grown. And Bali is a bit more international in the sense where obviously we get a lot of like tourists and we catch on to trends faster, international trends. But for the most part, like compared to Thailand or to which other islands? Yeah, not many other islands, but yeah, Singapore. Because it's the headquarter for One Championship, it's really like been helping to grow the industry across Asia, but not so much here in Indonesia at the moment. So yeah, I've also traveled to Thailand to check it out there. The good thing is like in Thailand, there are a lot more international fighters who are actually there for like fight camps. Whereas in Bali, it's a bit more like people come here for holiday and then they're like, oh, okay, you know, we'll train as well a little bit. But it's starting to change. So there are more people coming to Bali, depending on like which gym that they're affiliated to. Yeah.
Nice. But so like, I mean, at your gym or where you are you starting to see more females? Like, is it starting to become more of a thing? Because I'll say, even in Canada, like, I don't know about you, man, 'cause in California, like, you're in a hotbed of like MMA and fighting and stuff like that. But here, even in Canada, the female fighters, it's not a lot. Like, I know that the females have a hard time finding fights because even like for you, Gritty Gilly, like you were traveling all the way to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, like literally the other side of the world. Like it's almost like as far away as you could get from Bali just to fight. And it's like, and they had a lot of fighters from England and stuff like that. If they had a whole bunch of women fighters in Canada, they would have had them fight. I think that it's just really hard to find like females fighting. So, are you seeing a little bit more now?
So even here, like, even like for instance in Thailand, obviously there are a lot of people like female fighters doing like Muay Thai. I mean, not as many, but there are like quite a significant number, but just more from Muay Thai and not really MMA. And also to find someone in your weight class around your experience, you know, that's like really hard. But I think Thailand has the advantage in the sense where people actually travel internationally there already, like for, you know, either weight loss or a fight camp. Yeah. So they can actually match up people better. But in Bali, sometimes we get like fights, but actually I started like my amateur fights at Bali at Canggu Fight Night with Bali MMA back then. And those were like a bit more like underground kind of experience, but since the show has since like grown to, and that was actually really fun because like everybody was like with beer and, you know, it was like entertainment, right? But then now it's really grown to like in a proper venue at a club with like hundreds of people and with tables and proper lighting and music and everything, you know? So, and they even have fighters from like Russia, I think from Japan, and so it's really picked up and gotten more international recognition. But still, like in terms of the pay, obviously, like it's not like telecast, or they're not like selling media rights and things like that. So it's a different ball game altogether. Like when we talk about like the bigger promotions,
Right.
it's still hard to get.
So
People who are all the time.
Yeah.
Like fight. Yeah.
How disappointed were you? I don't know if this is a weird question, but like, how annoyed were you that you fly all the way to Calgary and then your opponent doesn't make weight? Like what is next? I can only assume it's incredibly frustrating, but like, what's next for you then? Like, how quickly can you turn around and find another fight?
So I mean, I have, like, the last time I fought was like November 2022, and that was here in Bali, with another Singaporean girl actually, who's now like quite like a friend. But but then I also like I had some injuries last year, so I was like really looking forward to this fight. And we've been like looking for fights for a while now, at atomweight with like the same level, but I'm not sure really how soon it is. I'm leaving that to my agent also. But yeah, I mean, as long as I mean, I've still been training like regularly and all that, and I really want to get back on track as soon as possible. But what I've heard is that Pro FC does have another upcoming show in the later half of the year. So hopefully, I'll be able to match up with somebody there. Back to your question on like how disappointed. Obviously, like having been in the whole fight camp, and like actually I knew she was gonna struggle with the weight cut, but I didn't think that she would have just completely like missed it by 6 pounds. So for me, that was I really think like it comes down, if you make a commitment to something, like all of us as fighters, professional fighters, especially when you even have like more fight experience than I do, like I think that's super. It's just being respectful to yourself as well as your opponent, and obviously the promotion had also put in a lot of money for everything, right, for the flight tickets and everything. But in terms of how disappointed, I mean, the whole fight camp I was really like excited for it, and I trained hard for it, so it wasn't all for waste, and I'm always like ready. But it did screw up a bit of my plan in the first half of the year, because I was gonna travel a little bit and after the fight. But anyway, I'm not too. I know these things happen. I've had a lot of amateur fights, opponents who pulled out, for whatever reason. But at the same time, like, because it's professional also, I think aside from the show winnings or the show money, but I think there should have been a penalty or something that that could have been implemented, like the fight penalty or something like that. That would have been. I mean, fighters like miss weight all the time. But for me, I also did mention in the beginning, like, I think if the weight was missed, like, the fight would not be on. So I was really clear about that. And even if it was 1 or 2 pounds, I think we might have considered it also. But just 6 pounds is like completely. It's not a wise decision to. To especially.
Sorry. You have to be smart about those kind of decisions, because the thing is, like, Matt, 6 pounds overweight when you're a 105 pounder, that's like a lot. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of difference. Yeah.
That's not when you're a heavyweight and you miss by 6 pounds. You know what I mean? This is like 105. Gritty Gilly, I don't want to keep you too long. I do have a few. I do have a few final questions. One question. Sure. I got some questions written in, so I just want to bounce a few of them off you.
Oh, okay, sure.
One question that I got was, did you buy everything at the farmer's market in Calgary? Apparently, after you went to a farmer's market and you bought out everything they had.
No, I wish I did, but I bought like quite a bit of stuff, but I bought it for the other fighters to share. So the good thing about the trip was I actually made some like really nice friends, like Kate Bachik. I think you interviewed her as well. She's so cool. Oh my gosh, she's like
She's
hilarious.
Kate Bachik is a good friend. We've had her on like at least a couple times. I talk to her all the time. She's a funny person.
Yeah, she's so funny. So I met her and her team.
Yes.
And I bought like some donuts for her, but you know what? Your maple bacon donut. Oh my god! I bought your maple chipotle. Yeah, maple everything, right? So I bought that, and I bought it back to Bali. I brought it back to Bali for my friends also. So yeah, I love to like buy at the flea markets usually for the local like taste. I even bought the Bowser, So,
nice.
Yeah, I almost bought at the home market. What a question.
Yeah. Another question that I got a lot of this question, of course, but and I can't even credit one person. Many people wrote this in. Are you single, Gritty Gilly?
Oh my god, really?
A lot of people want to date you. Some people wanted to marry you. So
okay, can you later you're gonna clip this part out when I say I'm very single. Look, no rings. There
you go. What do you mean? I'm not
very single, but very picky.
Okay. Well, guess what, Jill?
Yeah.
We are my co-host, my regular co-host, and I. We're trying to plan like a MMA reality show that is like an MMA / dating show. We're gonna do.
Oh wow! Okay.
Kind of like a Love Island.
Is it like Love Island?
Yeah, kind of like a Love Island.
It has to be in Bali.
We'll do it in Bali in your back. Yeah, maybe. Oh, Matt, now I've got a location all set.
Yeah, it could definitely grow the sport out there. You know?
It's hot. The passion's gonna be burning.
Yeah. Oh my god. So okay, here's the question, Gritty Jill. We do ask this when we have single people on our podcast. Will you be a part of the show when we launch the show? If you're single, of course.
If I get paid.
What's that?
If she gets paid.
Are you guys gonna get sponsors or?
What do you mean? I'm just waiting for Netflix to call me, and then we're gonna launch this bad boy.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right. We'll get you on. We'll get you on. Gritty Gilly, last question I'm going to ask you. It's a question that my mom used to ask me all the time when I was growing up. On a scale of 1 to 10, Gritty Gilly, Gillian Goh, how happy are you?
Oh my god. Have you seen my face? Have you seen these chicks?
Pretty happy.
I think like 15 out of 10.
Nice.
I love like what I do. Yeah.
So can you explain just like maybe briefly, like what makes you so happy in life?
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this. I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but I did mention like one of the reasons why I fight is because of my mom. Like she actually committed suicide, and when I was like 3 years old, she took her life like right in front of me. And for me, that was like a big reason why I always decide to be like happy in my life, and I want to inspire and empower others to be the same, like happier, healthier, and stronger through fitness and martial arts. So yeah, for me, like fighting, I've found like I'm good at it, and like I want to spread the joy to others also, and like life is super short. I don't know, if we're gonna be around tomorrow or whatever, but as long as I'm doing it and I see like progress and I see growth and I see like the results, I'm like super happy to be doing what I love and like sharing it with others, like you guys. So thank you for having me. I'm super grateful for this opportunity. I mean, I really wished I had fought and I would have been able to like share a bit more, but even through just like my dancing or my yoga videos, I'm like very happy like doing what I do. Gritty doesn't just mean for MMA. It's also for like, everything else in my life, like for work, for business, and the other like sports that I do. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Gritty Gilly. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm so sorry I did not know that about your mom, but I love that you've turned that into like a passion, into something positive, because I think a lot of people have had similar experiences like that, where like, you know, something difficult happens in your life, but you turn it into something where you can motivate and inspire others. Thank you so much, Gillian. Like I said, I've been a fan of yours now. Again, people go follow Gritty Gilly at Gritty Gilly on Instagram. You also have a second account, Jiggly Gilly.
Yeah, Jiggly Gilly. That's where I post a bit more like stupid, because I'm actually very like goofy. Actually, it should be Goofy Gilly or something. I don't know, but Jiggly Gilly sounds more fun, you know. And I post like dancing videos. Yeah, I actually took up dancing for like MMA, but I kind of like it more because there's the music and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Jilly, I will definitely be following your career. Everybody, make sure you follow Gritty Gilly.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And next time you have a fight, we'll get you on before your fight to help promo your fight as well. Now that you're a friend of the podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. And I look forward to MMA Love Island.
It's coming. It's coming. If you know anybody at Netflix, tell them to give me a call because I've got my whole show pitched. I need some cast members, but I'm pretty much
okay.
all good. Actually, Kate Batchick's going to be on the show. Kate Batchick said she'd be on there, so she'll be on with you.
Oh, shit. Yeah, she's so fun. Oh, my God.
All right. See you later, Gillian. Have a good one.
See you. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye. All right, Matt. There we go. That is Gritty Gilly. Like I said, I've been following her for a long time. The problem is like she said, like it's hard for some of these fighters to find fights, you know?
Yeah, even in California, like you were talking about how it's a hotbed here, like matching up amateur females or even professional females is a lot harder than you'd expect.
Yeah, we had at Fight League Atlantic, you know, we had a girl on our podcast that was set to fight. Her opponent didn't make weight or whatever, like at the weigh-ins, and then that fight was canceled. And then I've had last week, the monkey god Jared Brooks, he bailed on us, didn't show up, right? He's ghosted me ever since. I don't know what the frick this guy's problem is. I've literally laid out his whole legal plan to fight ONE FC and give him his title back because his title was robbed from him 1,000,000%. But then we had two guests that were supposed to be on the podcast this week. We had Nasilla Chaos Costello. She's a pro boxer who is making her BKFC debut. She just announced today that the fight is off. Obviously something with her opponent. And then I also had Ms. Dynamite from Bellator. She was fighting in the PFL season on April 4th. She's from Netherlands. She's like a crazy good striker. I think something happened either with her or her opponent, and her fight is canceled too. So like, there's fight cancellations all the time. It's crazy how much it impacts like people's earnings and their worth and their records. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the layout that you kind of have for your career, like Gilly was just talking about, with having the beginning of the year mapped out, and then that falls out, and she wanted to do something else in the middle, just travel and enjoy herself, and now she might have to bail on that and take a fight.
It's crazy, like everything. But anyways, we've got our next guest here. He's been waiting patiently in the lobby here, and I see him, so I want to thank him so much. I'm going to get right to him in 1 second. Let me just give a quick shout out to our friends of the podcast. Of course, RageWorks Podcast Network. Go check out RageWorksNetwork.com for a bunch of audio podcasts such as ours. Give them a shout. Smilin' Sam, your friend and mine, Matt, he was set to fight at Karate Combat. He did compete, got headbutted, and so it was a no contest fight. So Smilin' Sam, we love you, and we'll see you again and defend your title again. This week, is it this week? Yeah, this week. UNF 17 out in California, March the 30th, UNF 17. You'll see my good co-host, Ringside Rain Cruz. She'll be announcing that card. So give her a shout out on Instagram and go check out UNF Up Next Fighting. And our good buddy, Gianni Vasquez, he's defending his title out there. Matt, you know him.
I know the guy who's fighting a lot more.
Oh, that's right. He's your friend, right? The guy
yeah, my buddy Trevor. I've been Gianni for this camp, so you know, you're on one side of this main event. I'm on the other.
All right. Hey, look, all I want is for good fights and for people to be successful. There was actually two of our former guests, Celeste the Best Hansen and Ms. Scarface. They fought at ONE FC, and I was so torn because it was two guests that I had. But they put on one freaking hell of a show, man. They went to a decision, and they just like totally turned up the heat. So I was so proud for both of them. And one of them had to lose. That's fine. But they put on a good show. So that's all I want to see. So to my guy and to your guy, Matt, let's just wish that they do a great performance. That's what's most important.
Yeah, it should be a really good, fun fight. I think it's a good matchmaking right there.
Yeah, it should be amazing, man. And that's it, I think, for Friends of the Podcast. So let me bring in my next guest. Our guest now, he is fighting in the main event of Fight League Atlantic's FLA 14 on April 13th in Lance, Nova Scotia, which is just outside Halifax on the beautiful east coast of Canada for the 170-pound professional title. He's born in PEI. He moved around, went to Edmonton, San Diego, Tijuana. Now he's back in Edmonton. He's training everywhere he's gone. He's developed his skills. He's an undefeated professional with 4 wins and a 100% finishing rate. Matt, that's what I always love. He is looking to make a statement in his FLA debut. Please welcome to the podcast the man with the best nickname in the game, Tyler Squid Vicious Van Kill. What's up, Tyler? How are you?
Doing good.
Good. And where are you located right now?
I'm currently in Edmonton, Alberta.
Very nice. Very nice. Snowing? What's going on?
Not snowing right now. It snowed the last couple of days, but it's been minus 10. It was kind of, the weather here is bipolar.
Yeah. Same here in Toronto. And of course, stupid Matt in California. He just has like nice, constant, regular pressure. Now, Matt, you have heard and seen of Mr. Tyler Squid Vicious Van Kill, right?
Yeah, I have actually. His last amateur fight, he finished my buddy Javon Coleman.
Oh,
It was an arm triangle.
Hey, to be fair, he was my friend too. Well, still is, but that's just the thing. Like you were saying earlier, is that in Southern California, it's hard to get fights, even amateur, man. Like it's whenever I fought all my amateur fights there, and like, yeah, I there was guys like people want to protect their records no matter what. People want, like, especially nowadays, everybody's like, and it's seems kind of funny for me to say it because of social media, but everybody just wants to do it for social media. And I do it as well as social media stuff. Like I just do videos on Instagram and stuff, but like I'm always down to fight. I don't care. It's what we do. What you're supposed to do is take tough fights, and like your matchmaking fights now, you can see it. People that like you think would be down to fight other guys are just like, no. Like, you know, it's
pretty
weird.
surprising sometimes. And I respect your amateur record. I think the overall record of your opponents was like 15-2. So you weren't even taking easy fights as an amateur.
No, never, man. I just take the toughest guys because that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, within reason, right? Like you're not going to take a guy that's like 8-0 when you're 2-0 kind of thing, right? Like it's fight business too, right? You still have to be smart about things, but like at the same time, you're supposed to fight the toughest guys around your skill level / experience, things like that, right? So, and that's what I've always done, and it's unfortunate that it's hard to have more people that are just willing to take tough fights,
Yeah, it's crazy because especially as you're building your career too, like I'm assuming, Tyler, that you want to take this all the way.
I mean, that's, it's fighting. It's like you're training to essentially have a night where you have a human car crash. Right. It's not the best. You don't want to do this just to be a regional champ, in my opinion, So yeah, like I've done everything to be all in for this, right? Like when I was living in Kelowna before we moved to Tijuana, I was making decent money, at a job where I had no stress in life. And I quit that to move to Tijuana with my wife. My wife works online, so we could basically live anywhere. So we quit that to move to TJ so that I could train with Interim Gym to just get better. So, like I just never wanted to be in a position where I look back at my life and think, man, I could have done more.
Right.
So I always put myself in a position where, if it means I get my ass kicked for 6 months, which is what happened, then that's, and longer, then that's just, it's part of it, it's what you're supposed to do. I've only ever tried to train with the best. So,
well, like you say, like you never want to be in a position where you say you could do more, but you finish your fights very fast. So you definitely aren't getting paid by the hour. I mean,
that would be silly.
Every single fight finished in the first round. You've never seen a second round.
No. It doesn't seem the most logical thing to do. If I could, why not?
just to get it done quick. Is there any strategy? What I learned watching MMA last weekend is that, and I was talking to another Instagram page, Tree Rat MMA. He's a good guy. If I bite myself before the fight, right? Give yourself a good gnawing. If anything's going bad during the round, you just go, he bit me. And then you're going to win by DQ.
Man, I've been through so much. I've been through so much stuff in my life. I got plenty to pull from that I can be like, man, this is nothing compared to the things that I've been through. Like, it's just, and I mean, there's lots of people that have been, right? But it's just like, I've been taught, like, there's places that you can go in your brain, right? Like, there's ways that you can compartmentalize things from your day-to-day life. You know, it's been explained to me, the injustices against you in the day, right? Like, you have somebody cuts you off in traffic, flips you off, is rude to you or whatever. You just put that in your injustices box, you know? And then when you need to get out of a situation when you're training, because you train every day, right? So it's like you're training and you get to that position where, you know, you need to explode. Don't do it in a spazzy way, but you use that injustice. Like, you still use that energy that you would have expelled on that person in that moment, but you just use it in the right time in training. And it's like that extra energy, you know, that, you know, kind of go Super Saiyan for a second in a way. You know?
Nice. You got to do the old Homer Simpson, right? Every time you get stressed out, you push it back into your spine and then you wait till you erupt. I like it. Yeah. I like it. Now, here you are. You're going to be, and I apologize, I put your handle now at the bottom of the screen. So if you want to follow, if you're not already following Mr. Tyler Vankill, it's at Squid Vicious BJJ. And that's because you were or are predominantly a BJJ guy. Like, that was your background. That was what you excelled in first. And then you moved into the world of MMA.
Yeah, I grew up doing judo, and my mom's a black belt in judo. She was on like the Canadian national team. And yeah, so just growing up, we did judo as kids, and then I kind of got away from it. And then when I started training as an adult, I didn't start training jiu-jitsu until I was 26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved to Arizona with my wife, and I started training at Arizona Combat Sports, and then trained there for like a year and a bit or something. And then when we moved to San Diego is when I really got serious about it, because I was fat. I was like 230 pounds. Like, I was a big had moves, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lost like 60 pounds, 50 pounds or something like that to total, right, to like compete weight kind of thing. And then like, yeah, so I just, you know, really took it seriously once we got to San Diego, and then kind of flourished there under Barrett and the guys that I trained with there, Chris Lieben, Charles Martinez, Vince Salvador, Jesse Taylor was my wrestling coach. Like, just tons of good guys, you know.
Yeah, you've been traveling all around, man, training all around, picking up skills and developing yourself like all around the world. It's crazy because we had a fighter on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, Shannon Clark. She's the LFA flyweight champion now. Yeah. She literally just trains in like Lethbridge with the local police department and just beats them up in their parking lot. And that's her training. And I'm like, are you going to go around the world now and like train? She's like, no, I got a family and kids. Like, I'm just doing it here. It's like, it's so weird how different people take different paths towards their success, but yet they can still all be successful.
100%. And that's, I don't think that you need, and to be clear, like, I didn't move around to train. I move around because my wife and I are adventurous. And if a situation comes up, like, we were living in Canada, we had the opportunity to move to the States through work that she had, and we just took the opportunity. And then kind of Phoenix ran its course. Like, that's the thing, is like, we don't think things are impossible. So if a place, in our opinion, runs its course, you know, for whatever reason, when we were in Phoenix, say, they had monsoon season there, right? So it's like every year you get all these crazy rains. Well, the house we were living in, the roof caved in, leaking all over our stuff. And the landlord didn't do anything about it. And one thing led to another. We were going to move.
Why would the landlord do something, Tyler? Get with it.
So we were going to move, and we just had a conversation like, well, instead of moving somewhere else within Phoenix, and we don't really like it here, we've always wanted to go to California, whether we drive a half an hour or 5 hours, we're having to pack the stuff into the truck and out of the truck anyway. So why not go to California? So, all right. So we kind of did some whatever. LA is kind of a scene, it's sort of like San Diego, right? So we went to San Diego, started training there. First place I trained at was Victory. Trained there for like 2 weeks. Wasn't really my vibe. And then I found the arena, and it was my vibe, and I trained there the whole time I was there. Barrett got there like right after I started training there like a couple months, and then I've been under him since. Stayed after we went back to Canada and everything as an affiliate, and then I've just been loyal to him the whole time.
That's crazy.
I trained with Jeff Creighton at the arena when we trained there. He was my teammate the whole time.
Yeah, I assume so, given the size, right?
Yeah, and then and Trevor would come down all the time too. Trevor Wells, he would come down all the time too. We trained like not together, he and I, because he's too small, whatever, but like in the same practices and stuff. So I know him as well too. So it's a small world.
Yeah, Jesse as well. He's been a Team Quest guy forever.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of intermingling there between certain camps, and Tarek used to come down all the time when Jesse was there too. They would train together, and like the whole kind of thing. I mean, Chris went up there too, I guess, when he was fighting for Team Quest too. So it's just that whole scene there. Everybody knows everybody kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you get together at Epic. When Epic happens, like all the teams from SoCal come down, and it's just
yeah, everybody versus everybody, even if you know each other.
That's how Javon and I ended up fighting each other. Like we trained together for a long time, and as soon as he got that belt, I was like, I'm fighting that fool.
So then here you are now, right? You're 4-0 in your career, and now you get this opportunity to come out to East Coast Canada to fight League Atlantic, which is like one of the premier organizations now in Canada, definitely out in the East Coast. I mean, they're huge. The shows they put on are incredible, like far beyond anything I could imagine. Here you go, you're out there, you're fighting for their title. What happened? Like, how excited are you for that, to be fighting there? And then what happens next after that fight?
I'm super excited. I was actually supposed to fight on FLA 1.
Oh, okay.
I was supposed to fight FLA 1 against some guy that pulled out, he fell off a ladder or something, and then the second guy wouldn't get his medicals in on time, and then said he couldn't get his medicals, but then took a fight a week later, like after that fight was supposed to happen. So this is a whole weird thing happened. Like they did everything they could though. Like they've been like the best to deal with, to be honest. That's why I wanted to fight for them as well. And it's just a great opportunity. I'm from the East Coast, and I haven't been back in a long time, so it's kind of a really good way to come back and put a stamp on my first fight back in Canada in a way. I can go back home, and secondly, it's a good opportunity because it's a tough opponent, and it's one of those things where you can really see where you're at, see where the scene is at, see where, why not just, what kind of guy comes in and says he wants to be the best and then fights a loser?
Right.
You know what I mean? Fight the guy that's 9-1. He's basically the champ anyway, because, why not?
Right.
I'm not the champ. I'm new here. He's 9-1. So he's the champ. Uncrowned, basically, in a sense, right? So, why not try to take that shit, bro? That's what we do.
Yeah. And then what's
Storm
next?
the castle.
That's the mentality.
I mean, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. And the thing that you say too, like about in California, how like all the teams are getting together and stuff like that. It's funny because at the Fight League Atlantic events, it's so crazy because in the crowd, all the teams are just all hanging out amongst one another. Like they're
back home. Especially back home, places like that, like it's so small town. Like that's the thing.
Right.
I'm from a place where there's only 300 people.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no stoplights for a half an hour in each direction.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
so
Actually,
down.
when I went to my first FLA event, it was in Pictou, Nova Scotia, and I'm following my Google Maps, and suddenly I'm pulling into this area, and the road turns orange. Like on the map, like it's like, oh, it's like you're going to experience some slowdown. And I'm driving, there's like nobody on the road, and I'm like, what the heck? And then as I'm going, I see one car in the distance. I'm like, is that what made this road orange? Like there's just normally nobody, so the minute there's a car, it's orange. Like it was the weirdest thing.
And depending on the day, it could be Bill and Ted or Bob and Ted or whoever, and they could be crossing each other. Well, they could be having a conversation. If they stop on the road, depending on how long it is, you might just have to sit behind them for a couple minutes and let them finish the conversation because they're old timers. And that's just kind of the way it is back home, right? If you get a dirt road, you can't really beep at them because they're on a dirt road. And it's like, wow. And if they're having a conversation, a couple of old timers, you just kind of let it happen. And if they're kind of long winded, you'll give a little beep, beep, boys, we got to go to church kind of thing. But, other than that, it's kind of the way it is.
It's crazy. But it is nice, like it's the martial arts, it's the respect, it's like coupled with the small town. But it's like when you see all the guys and they're just all gathered together and they're all just cheering for one another because, look, they all have the same dream, right? You've all got the same dream. You're all doing the same thing. You're all chasing that same thing. So like the respect they all show for one another, it's beautiful. Like it's very funny though when I look out in the crowd and I see them all hanging out together. That's
why I think it's so played out when people try to like intimidate someone, or it's like trash talk. Like, well, you gonna shit talk me or my wife whenever like we're gonna get into a fist fight, no matter what happens. You could be respectful, no matter what you say. It's not, you think I'm going to try to fight you harder, or I was going to try to fight you less if you didn't call me a pussy. Like, oh, okay, now I'm going to fight you because you said that. Previously, I was just going to, not really try to fight you. Like, what's the logic behind that? It's just weird to me. I don't know. It's like I got bullied when I was a kid, right? So, like, to the point where when I like in 7th grade, I had to switch schools because I got bullied so much and I couldn't handle it anymore. Just like because I was the one they picked on. So it's like it sucked. So it's like to me, I guess there maybe is part of that as well. But moreover, it's like grow up. We're professionals. You don't go to a job site as a plumber and see an electrician and be like, fuck you, vato, or like, piece of shit. This is my, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I know you're fighting and stuff like that, and people will be like, oh, that's a dumb take because you're fighting someone, so it's like, you're trying to take everything that I have, it's blah, blah, but like, you literally did this as a job. Like, why talk shit to someone? Like, you can be hard and stuff, cool, yeah, like, look like you're ready to fight him and stuff, but like, I don't know, I get this is the trash talk and all that stuff. It's like, we're gonna fight anyway, dude. Like,
I mean, I work an office job. I do talk a lot of shit to the people next to me, though, in the cubicle.
Yeah, but that's different, though, right? Because if Gary down the cubicle gets too close to your staple, you might have to stapler that motherfucker. Like it's
yeah. Now
those are my post-it notes, bitch.
That ruler is mine. Okay, I'm gonna put the picture of the poster. Matt Padilla. These posters for FLA 14 are killer. This design that they've got for FLA 14, they've got all the wording and whatnot. And there is Mr. Tyler Van Kill on the right. I admit, when I first saw this poster, I thought it was Bilal Muhammad. And I was very upset.
I'm every guy with bald head and a beard, dude. For real. That's me. You know how many videos my mom will send me? Oh, are you this dentist from Turkey? Oh,
this but here you are. This is the fight, man. 170-pound professional title fight. The very first ever professional title, I believe, for FLA, Fight League Athletics. It's a big moment. It's a big scene. How early will you be getting in?
How early will I be getting in?
Yeah, like how early do you fly in? Like, do you acclimate? I mean, you're not that far.
A couple days before, got the do the weigh-ins, fight, and then
It's going to be a crazy night, man. It's going to be a crazy night. It's going to be a packed stage. I will say to fun, anybody that's even close to Nova Scotia, buy the tickets.
I recommend.
Fly in.
Yeah.
Check out on the Friday night. You've got the Submission Kumite 6. You've got the All BJJ event, which is crazy. That event is so good. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be commentating that. And then the next night you go in for FLA 14 and you check out all the MMA fights. And then you book it home. But you can
think about it this way, right? You like this face, you get to see me potentially smash someone else. You don't like this face, well, you might see me get fucked up, and there you go. That's all the sell you need, right?
It's win-win. It's
win-win. Because I'm ready to get into a car crash of human capacity. So
very nice, very nice.
I love it.
Mr. Squid Vicious, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all my guests. I think you heard me ask it to my last one. Don't let her answer sway you on this, because we've had answers from all over the gamut here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
10.
Yeah?
Yeah, I lead a pretty happy life, man. Beautiful wife, beautiful child. I get to train and look after my kid and fight people for fun and money. I do jiu-jitsu. I sell instructionals. Like, it's not the most lucrative stuff, but I'm happy. So, what more can you ask for, really? I get to travel around. I get to move. I get to experience things, learn languages. Hablas español, je parle français. Love it, man. I just love improving and learning and everything. So, yeah, live a happy life.
That's awesome, man. I'm very happy for you, man. You seem like a great guy. I'm very excited. I do think as well, I think I'm seeing you on the FLA Exposure podcast as well. I think we're set to do that this week, right?
I think maybe.
Do you know about that?
Not 100% sure.
Gotta go talk to your manager. Yeah, I think I'm going to see. I think I'm going to see you on another podcast as well. So I'm excited to see you there, and then I will see you live again, April 12th and 13th. Go check out Fight League Atlantic. You can watch the show online if you don't want to travel there. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com. You can get the pay-per-view. It is well worth it, man. These fights are incredible, and you're supporting Canadian talent. You're supporting local talent, even if you're not Canadian. Go support a smaller organization, right? This is where our legends are built. You know what I mean? This is where.
And that's how you get, and that's showing that support is how, how these promotions get that push to get to Fight Pass so that everybody can see them. And then you're just pushing more local talent to because I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these fighters that are the best in the world come from pretty small, unknown parts of the world.
Of course.
Look at these brutal guys like Shavkat Ramanov or whatever his name is. Like, totally screwed it up, but like, or wherever he's from, like the little mountains of Dagestan, like there's not many people there, bro, and there's savages. So it's like same thing from East Coast Canada, man. There's hard people out there, man. It's a hard way of life. It's not easy. It's cold all the time in the same ways it is in these other places. It's hard life up there. Northeast Canada is not easy. It gets cold, bitter cold, because the water comes off the ocean. So when these guys finally start getting their pushes, man, it's like, it's going to be good for the sport.
Yeah, no, crazy. Look, if you're a person that sits there and bitches about like fighter pay and stuff like that, the first thing I always say is, show me the receipt of the last pay-per-view you bought. Show me the last T-shirt of some fighter that you purchased. Show me the last, collectible card that some fighter sold that you bought off them online. All those little things help support. But even beyond that, go buy the pay-per-views of these smaller organizations. Like, go check out Henderson's Fight Night. Go check out Fight League Atlantic. Go check out Up Next Fighting. That all builds this sport, right? And the more those things can happen, then the more everything flourishes. So, Tyler...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, is Hendo Fight Night still amateur? Or are you guys going to do pro-am shows, or is it just going to stay amateur?
Probably just amateur. We do some submission series type of stuff too, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Don't try and steal my talent, Matt. What the hell? What's going on? Get out of here.
That's not exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. Squid Vicious, thank you so much for joining the podcast, my man. I'm very excited to see you. I'm excited to finally see you fight live in person. and I'll be excited to call the fight and excited to see you. Is your wife coming out? Like who comes down with
No,
you?
it'll just be me and my coach.
Just you and your coach? Who's your coach?
Aaron, and I, Kasapowski, I think.
Oh, okay.
I might have murdered that, but yeah, from Kingdom MMA here, and then Craig Shintani. But I think it'll just be the one coach coming out with me.
Okay, nice.
Trip. Yeah.
Okay, well, hello to Aaron, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Tyler, thank you so much for joining the podcast, man, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too, buddy. Take care. See ya. Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right, that is Squid Vicious. Now, you've known him before. You've seen him fight. What can we expect, Matt? This dude's going to go crazy, or what's up?
Yeah, he's just 0 to 100 with the submission game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, all 4 fights, all 4 first-round finishes, never sees a second round. That's the kind of fighter you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be exciting, honestly.
Yeah, very, very exciting, man. That wraps up our show. Matt, is there anything that you wanted to sell or promote before we get out of here?
I mean, Dan Henderson's Fight Night, you know, check it out anytime you can. We got the combatsportsnow.com pay-per-view. We're not coming back till May 18th, though, but it's going to be another good card for sure.
It's crazy, dude, though. You guys are putting on lots of shows. UNF putting on lots of shows. Fight League Atlantic is putting on lots of shows. Like, it's very cool time to be, like, a combat sports fan. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that you can absorb in. So just put everything on your calendar, man, and watch it all. That's all.
Yeah, up next should be a really good card. My other teammate too, Nate Hawthorne, he's fighting for the amateur flyweight title. So I've got 2 guys fighting for the flyweight belts, pro and amateur there. So trying to take both of those belts home.
Nice. Are you going to be there?
I'll actually be competing this weekend. I'm going to Vegas. I'll be at a ADCC Open. So that's going to be really big for me. Yeah.
Dude, there you go. Okay, you were going to promote the Henderson Fight Night, but not your own fight?
Well, you know, I don't think there's a stream for ADCC, but still, ADCC is like a really huge tournament. It's like the like worlds for jiu-jitsu, basically.
Right.
And then I accepted an invitational for Arizona, so we'll see how that goes. I'll get more information on that.
Nice. Very cool, man. That's exciting. And your MMA next fight, when are we looking?
I was hoping for June, but I'm still not hearing back, really. But yeah, I put my name in the hat for Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors is starting an amateur league, so I wanted to make an impression as an amateur real quick, take one fight there, and then try to transition as a pro for Cage Warriors.
Nice. That's cool, man. Good for you. What else we got going on? Well, I mean, like, look, if you're at ADCC's in Vegas, go say hello to Mr. Matt Queso Padilla. Get a free autograph. Free? Or are you charging for autographs nowadays? What's the
at least $1.
At least $1.
I'll have my tip jar.
And actually, I had a question for you. I still see you out there wearing your quesadilla shirts, right? That everyone always mentions are so badass when they see it. How many of these things do you have? Do you have is it the same one that you're just keeping in pristine condition?
It's literally just the same one. So I just asked what's like the best quality for my dollar, and I just got the best shirt. And yeah, people always wear like the one they've had for years now, and I'm just like, okay, that was actually a really good T-shirt.
Yeah, because you're fighting in it, you're training in it. Like I'm like, and then every time you come, it looks so perfect, and people come.
Yeah, it's not like cracked or dried out or anything.
No, yeah, that's amazing. All right. I think that's it for the show. I don't think Tyler got my necessary joke about pre-biting yourself. But did you get what I was saying?
Pre what?
Pre-biting yourself. Like
the guy right. Just a bit. Yeah.
So if you bite yourself before the fight, then if anything goes bad, you go, oh, he bit me.
Yeah, just like if he has your back or something, just smother your arm into him.
Push it in.
Looks like it.
And then show the bite mark, and then it's like a free win.
Yeah.
No? Okay. This joke
I think that makes sense.
No? No? Okay.
Did the guy's mouthpiece fall out?
That's what I was curious about. Why was there teeth on both the top and bottom?
Yeah, I was really curious about that, actually.
Wait, you're asking me that now, saying how come did his mouth guard fall out?
Yeah, I actually missed that fight. I didn't start watching till like the Peyton Talbot fight, which was a great one to watch. But
yeah, I
I
didn't
saw there
notice
was marks on both sides.
I didn't notice that his mouth guard fell out either. But then when you're seeing the teeth marks, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, because actually it's really hard to bite when you've got your mouth guard in, like, because it's like kind of thick along the back of your teeth. So it's not like you can really get a good bite.
Like there should only be an impression on one side, right?
Yeah. So wait, do you think we caught something? Do you think he never really bit him? He did bite himself, and that was the whole thing? Is this the conspiracy theory you're putting out there now?
The inside job, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an inside job. Okay, let's go with that. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense where you're... Yeah, how did his mouth guard fall out? I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the fight and see if I missed it. I mean, in all honesty, I wasn't watching that fight too closely. But
you saw he got it tattooed, right?
Yeah, got it tattooed. And then did you hear Dana White was going to give him $25K? And then when he got the tattoo, he goes, screw it, I'm going to give you $50K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that easy for Dana.
I mean, it's crazy, man. Here's another quick thing. Bellator event went on last week. Did you watch it at all?
I did not. I didn't even know it was happening. It was very Bellator-esque, even with the PFL ownership. I didn't know about it at all until I saw the highlights on Instagram.
It's friggin' bonkers, dude. I'm glad that you said it that way. Nobody knows this shit is happening. Like, it is crazy that why, if you're PFL, did you buy this league if only to just let it continue to blunder, like you're saying? Like it was no different. Bellator-esque, exactly. That's the perfect word. Like you spend all the money to buy it, but then you're not doing anything with it. And what I don't get is, why buy it at all? Let it flounder and die, and then you could have just taken the athletes you wanted anyways.
Right.
Because they'd have no contract.
I was actually kind of excited for it, too, the way they were talking about how they're going to make... It's basically like two leagues under one, which is kind of like they explained it in football terms. Like you've got the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea. And then here they are still not promoting shit for Bellator.
It's crazy. I don't know, man. I was just curious. I know this is just kind of like a throwaway topic as we end the podcast, but it was like, yeah, Bellator went on. I didn't see anybody talking about it pre or post. And it's like the promotion's not there. They're not like getting anything. They didn't do anything different. Like it was exactly the same too, which is what was curious for me too. I'm like, oh, are they going to invest some money to spruce something up or make something different? But it's like exactly the same. It's the weirdest thing. There's a store in my local mall that was like a records and video game, like a Sunrise. I don't know if you have Sunrise Records or whatever, HMV, any of those things. No, like a record store, but then it also sells like nerdy stuff, you know, like pop makers and stuff. It goes out of business. And then the next store that opens is like literally the same thing. And then it goes out of business. And then the third one opens up. It's like, I couldn't understand. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're not doing anything different than the last guy that went out of business. And this is the same thing with PFL and Bellator. Like, you buy Bellator, it's dying. You buy it, and then you're just running it exact the same. Like, how can your investors possibly have faith in you when they see you doing that?
Yeah, and it was a Patricio Pitbull fight, like the guy that's supposed to be the GOAT for Bellator, and you still couldn't use him as a good promotional tool.
No, and then the last thing I'll say, which is quite funny, now nobody's listening now because we're way too deep into the podcast. Liz Carmouche, Bellator flyweight champion, is in the PFL season, and I asked her, what happened to your belt? And she goes, I don't know. How do you not know what happened to your, like, she hasn't even, like, because I said to her, I go, did you have to vacate? And she's like, no, I don't think so. Like, first of all, they didn't put her on the goddamn champions versus champions. She should have fought the European champion, Deshkova, or whatever her name is. Don't put her on the champ versus champ. I mean, Liz Carmouche is a big name. Whether you like her or not, she's a big name. She's been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, historic. First woman in the octagon.
First ever female in the UFC octagon, right? So she's there. You don't use her in the champ versus champ. And then now she's in the season. And what happens to her belt? Like, she doesn't even know. And the picture of her in the freaking PFL promos, she's not holding the belt.
Wow.
Because I'm like,
Yeah,
even
then
if
what's
the
the point?
belt wasn't up for grabs, you should still have her holding the belt.
Yeah.
Why not? You know?
It's still a league that you own, and you're still handing out those belts, right?
Yeah, you're not holding, like, you know, the Up Next Fighting belt. Like, it's freaking your belt. So it's so weird that, like, even like it's seemingly like they've bumbled that whole thing too. But
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
I mean, I'll shout out again, Don Davis, if you want to hire Timmy B, want to hire Matt Padilla, want to hire Ringside Rain, we'll go in there and we'll make some creative differences that might actually matter. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think they need a couple extra minds in there.
Like, maybe people that are more at the ground level of it, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody that actually has an Instagram account that has seen what's going on in the world. They're like, oh, it doesn't really make sense. But anyways, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy what's happening. But anyways, go check out Up Next Fighting this weekend to see Ringside Rain Cruz, see Matt's buddy, see my buddy, see everybody's friends, watch some good fights. And then April 12th and 13th, go check out Fight League Atlantic. Matt, it was a pleasure as always. Thank you for waking up so early, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It's always nice in California, so I can't really complain no matter what time it is.
Yeah, I got to go shovel now, so I'll talk to you later. This sucks. All right, see you later, buddy. Have a good one.
See you, brother.
See you guys. Bye-bye.